straight and tall. What I like to do is use the small 6 files to get some sense. That once the curve, we have confidence in the anatomy and we can slide into it.
So I'm looking for booby traps, local knowledge, anything that can throw me off. Oh, geez, I can't get in the DB yet, for example. So I'm just exploring. I'm not trying to get anything done.
Quite easily, and I'm sure the pal will see this will just fall in, no problem.
Envelopes.
I'm not concerned about that. We'll slide down the distal buckle. That's falling easily. We're just going to use the following motion. There's nothing to that. We'll do a couple of amplitudes that cotton pliers did. So we'll put a little more curve on this guy. Let's go MB, and you can see if we hold the instrument with the cotton pliers, I can see where it's going. And Des is constantly following and enveloping, cognizant of what we're doing through the microscope as well as what's next, what's needed next. So let's crawl up now to the mesial buckle 2. A lot of you endodontists, this is a lonely time because the dental assistant is baking cookies or wondering what you're doing in here because they can't see what you're doing. Des knows we're in the MB2. I'm just going to, this goes a little ways, so then I'm just going to make some vertical strokes up higher. I'm going to use the SX manually.
Why do you think I didn't do the envelope? Because it wasn't in very far. It was like 3 millimeters in it. And if I would have enveloped out, it would have come out of the orifice. Then I would have had to find it again. So instead, I just literally pulled back, did a couple little smoothies, just in case there was a little restrictive dentin that was holding back my good old friend number 6. But since I'm out now, I'm going to irrigate and recurve and check it out.
In case there were a little triangle present.
Actually, I said screw it. I'm going to use the SX manually and carve the top part right now. And what's really staggering is you'll see what a huge difference it makes. Now remember, I haven't had a 10 file even in the orifice yet.
Use the SX manually in case there were a little triangle present.
This will be the XA later.
In the MB2. A little corner there. So we'll make a couple of turns manually. That's fine there. Okay, let's irrigate this, and we'll see if that little pink guy goes deeper now.
This could be any canal that's not easy to get down, the thought process.
And that little triangle a tiny bit. What's happening now by removing that triangle a little bit, it's allowing the pink to drop much deeper. I'm just going to follow an envelope, follow an envelope, follow an envelope. As long as it's going, we're going to go with it, right, Des? I'm just going to follow an envelope. It's carving away restricted dentin. And I really have the confidence that we're on the roll here. So let's irrigate this. We're going to do an S1 a little bit higher.
Again, I normally wouldn't use an S1 here because I could follow to the end. But remember, you're just going to think. It's not like an absolute 1, 2, 3. You just got to keep thinking. So I thought maybe there's just still a little restrictive dentin. And I don't know if this made a difference or not, but you can see I'm not at risk.
With the handpiece. 220 RPM like this. Now we have the S1, we're just crawling into the entrance of MB2.
And again, I'm all for you using wave 1 in the cases that go easily for you, but you can't do this with wave 1 because you only have one big file. and encourage you to stay with that file. If it rolls, good. Just, you gotta have a fallback, something. If you can't fit it in the hole, you see what I'm saying? You gotta think, what do I need to do to at least get the wave one primary to fit?
And we're really using the rattle crown down technique, which I poo-pooed for many years. Okay, now we're going to irrigate, and we'll slip and slide and off we go. So I'll put a little curve on Mr. 10. And then we'll adjust the stop, which I think will be approximately where we'll go.
Go 5 more minutes.
To the reference. And Des, if you can aspirate now. And we'll just crawl down the anatomy. So we're going to follow it to the end zone. Let's go with the mini.
So we'll check that with the ZX.
Let's see this
And
a little bit.
now I'm going to go through the shaping.
And therefore, amperloop, and we'll set these flopper loop and just make our vertical amplitudes until it's super loose, and it's already super loose. So the glide path already exists. I'm ready for the rotary. It's no big deal. And we'll set these files right over here, right, Des? So it looks like 21s will be fine with the stuff of white. And yellow, so there's no point in measuring these.
I am measuring them, just not using the ruler. Using the relationship.
Red guy, what's next after red? Liz? Oh, so smart. Okay, there you go. All we have to do is see if they crawl into place, which they no doubt will, and let's use the Pierre chant. We used to say float, follow, and brush. Okay, we're going to let it run so you can see the position of my hands are way back here. And I'm not directing the handpiece at all. I'm just letting it float, follow, and paint, and I'm done. Des irrigates, John comes in. What are we irrigating with, Des? Kemet. Kemet is what? EDTA on steroids. Now I know
that's on your shopping list.
I don't know that, but I'm thinking that Dan might be distracting you a little bit. And since I'm easily distracted, it's distracting me. So now I can see. Now Mr. White, we do the same thing. I'm just going to let it float, follow, and paint. Done. Now pay attention, because it'll appear like I'm not doing anything. I know Des isn't doing anything. Letting it flake, fall, and paint.
I'm looking at the flutes. Which
If you were a wave one guy, you would have chosen primary and discovered that it wasn't enough and had to go to large also. So is it cutting at the end there? How does that look?
See, the flutes have dentin in them, and just as if you had gone to the hardware store and you wanted to make a 1/4-inch dowel coming out of the wall, you buy a 1/4-inch drill, you drill it in the hole in the wall, blow out the dust, and the 1/4-inch dowel would fit every time if they were sized properly. They're in the right bin. And that's exactly what you have. You now have physical evidence that that shape exists. But you listen to my thought process as I did this.
Guys, yeah, you can see the dent in there. So that means that that shape exists, but it went so easily. I'm going to choose to fall in with also blue, which is the 30 tip and a 9% taper. I'm just letting it float, follow, and brush, or better yet, let it run and paint. And there's our cut. The dentin exists perfectly in the blade. It's
There you go. Okay? See that? And then strategy-wise, when you have a, let's say, a 2-canal